Morning. Just over 1/10 of an inch of rain. So, because everything's wet, I got crap to fix at the farm here, and then we can maybe get back in the fields. I don't think so, but we'll see. I'm gonna run through the list of stuff that needs to be fixed on rain days so we can keep rolling. Number one, that tire's flat again. I gotta make that phone call this morning. I hope they're open on Saturday. Number two, we have that wheel to put back on right here. Number three, the crumbler, there's a valve that when it folds up, that wing is supposed to press the valve, which allows the other wing to fold up. Well, let me come over here. It's not making contact, so I gotta find a way to adjust the valve. It is that valve right there. It's like smushed down, like the bracket bent. So that needs to be fixed. The packer. I have one of the U-bolts that hold the packer wheels tight together is loose, creating a gap in the packers. I got to get that addressed. On the field cultivator, ended up getting a broken bolt, so I got to replace that bolt. I think that's it for the equipment. Oh, I think I have a couple sweeps I got to replace on the field cultivator. That's it for those pieces of equipment. Another big thing that needs to be addressed is on the planting tractor. There's a steer sensor fault going on, which is not allowing me to do auto steer, and it's not a huge issue because I can plant with the markers, but it is a big deal because of the fact that with auto steer there's no overlap, and while I'm planting with the markers we are getting overlap, which that's just wasting money and seed that doesn't need to be wasted right now. I also need to get a couple steamers up and going for a couple of the restaurants, and they're also saying they want their patio equipment down, or patio chairs and tables and crap down there, so I got to do that at some point soon also. And why is there soybeans all over the ground here? There shouldn't be. Okay, there's obviously something going on with this row unit. Because all the rest of the row units have seed in the little yellow hopper, except for this one. This one's empty. So that tells me something is not sealing properly here. So I guess we'll just pull this apart. I don't understand why, unless we had a plug in there. Yeah, this one is completely empty. So I don't understand why it would drain out all of the beans. You know, overall, I'm actually pretty happy with the performance of this planter. I'm still having a few issues with the air compressor. That's acting up on me as well. But also, one thing that concerns me on it is these two cylinder wheels drift down overnight. And the only way to pick them back up is to unfold the machine, set it down into plant mode, and then fold it back up and bring it around. So I have a feeling this winter we might be rebuilding those two cylinders, because the only way that would be drifting down is that there's a seal inside the cylinders that's bad, is my guess. But at any rate, I need to start looking into this steer sensor fault that's going on with this tractor, because this is kind of a big deal. Oh, I need to call the tire place, see if they're open, and tell them about that flat tire. I'm getting frustrated. Everything I'm reading online, it's saying the steer sensor, it's a wheel angle sensor, is what I'm reading online. But I can't find the wheel angle sensor anywhere on this tractor. I found different schematics for different tractors to find it, but not for this particular tractor, because of the fact that they make several different models of this tractor. I tried running the serial number on John Deere's website, and it's popping up that they can't find it. So, you know, that makes me feel good. Tire company's closed on Saturdays, so I can't call them until Monday. So yeah, I am just kind of getting frustrated. And I don't know how to pull the steering column apart, because it has two screws down at the bottom in here. Well, the only way I can get to those screws is remove this, but this doesn't pull apart. So in order to take out this lower cowling, I have to remove the floor. I'm getting to the point I might just call John Deere out for this one. I got the steering column apart without breaking anything, surprisingly. But I was seeing like little mouse footprints. Like you can see right here. There are little mouse footprints everywhere in there. So I'm like, okay, well maybe I got lucky and it's just like a chewed wire. That's not the case. And that kind of disappoints me, because as much as I don't want mice to chew wires, a chewed wire is something simple that I can fix, and I'm not seeing that. So that tells me that there's a bad sensor, which I was hoping it was just going to be a bad wire or something, but yeah. And the only sensor I'm finding is on the steering wheel. Right here is a sensor there for when the steering wheel turns. That's the only thing I'm seeing as far as a sensor. There's got to be sensors on the front wheels that I just can't find, don't know where they're at. I've tried the internet, I've tried everything. So, I don't know. Just don't know. I'm stumped on this one. Alright, afternoon everybody. This is a different day, new day. You can see the sun shining, neighbors mowing. Today is actually Sunday, Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day. Well, you guys will be seeing this later. Happy belated Mother's Day. This thing, we ended up deciding we got it narrowed down to what's wrong with the Autosteer of the tractor. It's narrowed down to two sensors. A sensor in the steering column, which is $1,500, or a sensor right here in the actual steer. They call it the steer angle sensor, something like that, and that is $3,500. So what we're going to do is we're going to call John Deere. We're going to have Mother Deere come out and diagnose which sensor is bad and get it replaced, because that's too much money on our mind to just buy a sensor and throw in there to see, you know, and find out it's the other sensor, not this sensor, because you can't return them at that point because they're electrical parts. So we are going to call John Deere out to deal with that. I have to call the tire company out to deal with the tire in the big tractor. Hopefully they'll get that taken care of in a decent amount of time, usually within a day or so, so that's not a big deal. Today I'm actually going to be working on a couple little projects here in the barn to get those knocked out. They're talking rain tomorrow afternoon and rain Tuesday. So I need to get the couple little projects done here in the barn, and then I need to get in the sprayer, and I need to spray the pre-emergent spray on the beans that I planted the other day, because those have to be planted with or sprayed within 5 days after planting, because you want to get them before the plants come up. So I'm going to get the side-by-side and I'm going to drive out there to see how muddy it is, to see if I can spray now or if I should wait a couple hours. I'm kind of in the mindset I need to wait a couple hours, but we're going to find out. This is drying extremely fast. That's a good thing. I'm walking across, not getting mud on my boots. I'm going to give it about an hour, I'm thinking. Hour and a half, and then I'm gonna go, then I'll start spraying pre-emergent. What pre-emergent does is it lays a residual on the dirt itself to prevent any weeds from germinating and growing up before the beans do. So about, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, we tried pre-emergent for the first time, and I really wasn't sold on it. I was thinking, why are you spraying bare dirt? It's just not worth it. But, so when I sprayed, I didn't spray my headlands first, like I normally do. I went through, sprayed, and I just made a turn, and then started spraying again, and then sprayed, made a turn. So I left like pie-shaped areas at the headlands that didn't get sprayed with pre-emergent. When I went back to spray the beans for weeds throughout the summer, I could see really weedy pie-shaped areas at the ends of the headlands that didn't get hit with pre-emergent. And that was when I was convinced that pre-emergent is a good thing. So it's little things like that where, you know, you try something and you're like, I really don't think it works. And then you see the results of it later in the year, and then you're like, oh yeah, we're doing that from now on. That's how we started doing pre-emergent. We are spraying the pre-emergent down right now. This is the last step that you want to do in a field of beans or corn, whatever. Like if we were running a roller over these, we'd want to land roll it first and then spray, because the spray sits on top of the dirt and prevents any weeds from germinating. And a land roller will disrupt that dirt and bury the spray, and then it's not as effective. Now I have looked into the land rollers before, and I like the idea of them. I like the concept of them. I just don't know if it's worth the money. They are a lot of money, and I don't know if our size farm would benefit enough from it to justify spending that kind of money on them. So I'm kind of in the air. I guess I would definitely demo one in a couple fields and compare it to how we traditionally do things. But I don't know. I like the idea of them again, but I don't know if they're worth the money for us right now. And for those of you that don't know what the land roller is basically what it is. It's a big roller, like a lawn roller, that you go over, because when you plant, there's little ridges left in the field. Rocks that you may have missed will be laying on top of the field. And the idea behind the land roller is it flattens all that out, pushes the rocks down, flattens out all the ridges that the planter leaves, because your bean head runs so low to the ground. And there have been times, and it's happened to me several times, where the bean head will act as like a bulldozer, and it'll get caught, like if the ground's wet or moist, it'll get caught on a ridge and just start pushing dirt and basically bulldoze a pile of dirt up in the head, and that's not good. And in theory, that's what the land roller prevents. So I like I said, I like the theory behind it. I just don't know if it's cost efficient for us. There have been studies. I don't personally know anybody that has done this, but there have been studies done, like Michigan State University, things like that, where if you go in when the soybeans are up about, I don't know, that high, and roll them down, and you look at the field and you're like, oh my God, you're killing the beans. But they roll them, and what it does is it stresses the plant, and that plant comes back more vibrant and produces a better yield. In theory, I understand the whole deal, the concept behind it. I don't have the balls to try it in my fields, but whatever. I don't have a land roller anyway, so that's kind of what the land roller use is. There's a lot of guys that run them, a lot of guys swear by them and love them. I guess I just need to demo one myself in our own fields and see if it's worth the money, I guess. Just like that, pre-emergent spray is on. It's a beautiful day. Fields are too wet to be working ground, but I got a flat tire on that tractor anyway, so I can't work ground. A couple little projects I wanted to get done in the barn, I got done before I started spraying. So I honestly think it is 2:39. I think I'm gonna go home and maybe start another video and go for a motorcycle ride. See if the wife wants to go for a ride. So with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.